Hi, I'm Sean D. Francis, and this is the third video in the Campaign Builder Workbook video explanation series. I have to apologize for the second video. I didn't realize that my software was messing up and you just saw a static picture of me in the corner. That was not very exciting. I'm just going to eliminate me down in the corner. It's very unnecessary part of this entire process. Just trying to make things feel a little bit more dynamic than filling out a spreadsheet. If you missed the first two videos, you should go back and check them out. This is a full explanation of how to use the Campaign Builder Workbook. So first video, full explanation, and we get into start building out our village. The second video was about the region. And this video will be talking about the country and continental area. And then the other videos will be more detailed about the village, about the region, and about the country. And then we'll have a video talking about the plot lines and the campaign arc. So hopefully we'll have this all done in about 9 videos, 20 minutes each. But let's not waste any time. Let's get right into talking about the workbook. The link to the workbook will be in the video description for this video, whether it's below to the side, not sure exactly where this is going to be published. But you can take the link and then make a copy of this for yourself and start creating your own campaign setting. But let's get into the thick of it right now. As you can see, we've already filled out information about the starting village and about the region, and the region is the Grimcrest Barrens. So now let's get into the country. The name of the country in which the region and village are in. So this is the kingdom, this is the city-state, this is the thing in which the adventures, your campaign, take place. You can have a globe hopping adventure. Dragonlance did that. Dragonlance took its characters all over the world. So don't be afraid to do that. Definitely can be part of your campaign. But for my purposes, I usually like to keep things fairly constrained because I like being able to have the same world and move location, move to a different continental area or different kingdom, and tell different stories, but have all of that working towards one single campaign setting. Matt Mercer has done this with basically Campaign 1 and Campaign 2 of Critical Role. It's just, it saves time. You don't have to keep recreating powerful entities, and you get to build history that way, especially if you have the same players going campaign to campaign. So, name of the country that the region and village are in. I usually like very grandiose, very on the nose kind of names. Not that creative for the country side of things. So we're going to go with Illustria. That is the name of our kingdom, and the type of country it is. You can see we have several listed here that you can use to start defining your country. The guide gives more details on each of these, but for the most part it's self-explanatory. The only one that's kind of weird is the sovereign principality, because it's essentially a feudal monarchy but not as big, and usually is tied to a feudal monarchy in some way. So we're going to do a feudal monarchy. I love that structure. It's very standard fantasy. Everybody understands the king rules, the monarch rules. Everything flows from that, but there's still a lot of room to maneuver in the gaps of a feudal monarchy. The name of the ruler. In terms of country leadership, I like having nicknames and other nomenclature attached to them because it helps separate them out from other NPCs. And by that, I just mean we're going to have like a Garen Thiel. No, I hate Thiels. Garant the Harmless. So that sort of thing. It could be Bolton the Brave or something along those lines. But I like, for this, I like the Harmless. It's kind of gives the impression it's probably not the most effective ruler. Maybe doesn't have full respect of everybody underneath him. The name of the biggest rival of Illustria. So this would be another country. It could be a country. It could be a secret society. It could be the leader of a peasant revolt. It could be almost anything. I'm going to stick with another country. We in the region section, we just said that one of the long-term goals of the region was removing the threat of a foreign nation on the region. So what is that foreign nation? Palantir. So Palantir is a rival country. The most immediate concern of Illustria. Now, these concerns are not like, oh, there's a band of goblins or something of that sort. These are bigger country level concerns. So I like thinking in terms of like economic concerns. Those are usually bigger, hairier, weirder kind of problems to solve. So let's tie things together. Like, let's say there's been a drought. So the big concern, the immediate concern is drought, famine, feeding the people. So if we think about this, one of the abilities of a cleric is to create food, and we have all the way back in the starting village, we were saying that the long-term goal of the village was to build a temple to attract a cleric. Maybe that's to attract a cleric so the cleric can create food and water for the village. So we have the foreign nation threatening the region. Maybe they're sending in soldiers to raid on the region in the border area because they too are going through a famine. So as you see, as you fill this out, things start coming together. You can start creating those threads. Don't try to make everything match up. Don't try to tie off every thread. Don't try to make it perfect. Those mismatched areas are where the story will develop, where things become very interesting. And honestly, everything being tied together is kind of boring. You need those one-off threads to the side that the PCs can tie up and be done with, and it isn't part of a bigger arc, a bigger story, or something of that sort. The greatest threat to peace in Illustria would be open warfare with Palantir. And again, like the region, like the starting village, we define 3 points of adventure for the country. The first point of adventure, an abandoned village. That would be something of curiosity. Now, these points of adventures share similarities with the region and share similarities with the starting village, but they're different. There's different things in each category, and all of that is controlled on the workbook data tab. So if you want to swap things out, put in your own ideas, or you don't even have to accept the drop down value. You can just insert whatever you want in that area. But these are starting points. These are ideas. These are just nuggets for which you can grow your campaign. The next point event, let's do a dungeon. So so up here we have a dragon. Down here we have a dungeon. We have Dungeons and Dragons. We've now met the full criteria for a Dungeons and Dragons campaign setting. I don't know what the dungeon is. I'm thinking of kind of a mega dungeon kind of thing. I'm thinking a Tomb of Horror, Temple of Elemental Evil kind of dungeon, significant. Maybe work in a published adventure, or maybe I've been working on a mega dungeon that I've been looking for an opportunity to drop into a campaign. So yeah, that no reason to dwell on that anymore. And then the third one, let's we have a dangerous forest, don't need a dying forest. How about do I want to see, if you want sea adventures, you put in shipwrecks, disappearing ships. I don't think I necessarily want sea adventures. They always sound good, but they always feel kind of limiting to me. I'm just going to go with Mysterious Glow. I don't have a good idea yet. Mysterious Glow is just that. Something weird to be explored. Could be magical, could be natural, could be lava. Who knows what that Mysterious Glow is? Gotta go explore it when it shows up. And that's all we're doing for the country. You can see as we move further away from the starting village, the detail decreases, and in fact decreases so much that we have the Continental Area that we'll define right now. Very little information here. We're really just identifying the political players, the countries and lands, nations, the most significant nations in the area around your starting country. The name of the it really doesn't matter. You're not going to reference this much. I'm just going to stick with something simple and call it like the Greater Land. Largest political power. Now this is truly in sense of politics. We're again talking about influence. This is the nation that the other nations kind of bow down to, or at least give way to most of the time. I don't like that to be the nation that the PCs are starting in, because if you're already in first place, what are you striving for? You're just striving to protect first place. If you're in second place, you're striving to be in first place. You're struggling to get ahead. So we're going to say that Palantir is the largest political power, and then Illustria is second place. And then we have to have a third. I like rules of three. It keeps things off balanced, and it keeps the lines of conflict from just being directly at each other. It gives some interesting neutral ground and just other bit players in this. I like the idea of a city-state. Again, in Game of Thrones, you have the city of Bravos. It's a city, but it's a significant political power. And that's what I'm going to have here. Let's do the city. Zixer. Very exotic sounding. And then we just play with these. Maybe you want to add in an entirely different military power in the region, or you can just stick with these three. I'm going to stick with these three, playing it up. I'm going to say that Illustria has the strongest military. They're a threat. But then Palantir is next, and City of Zixer really doesn't have a military presence, but what they do have, is money. And maybe they have like amazing gold mines. Maybe they have some access to some gem mines, something. But they are the bank. And I'm probably ripping off City of Bravos a little bit too much there, but because of that, they have a reason to deal with both Illustria and Palantir, and they can be playing both sides of a conflict. They may be creating conflict. I'm already imagining what kind of characters come from the city of Zixer. They're going to be very Machiavellian kind of characters. City of Venice is probably what Bravos was based on. And in Renaissance terms, like they wielded so much power, giving out loans to kingdoms in Europe, and they were traders, that sort of thing, but they didn't have a large military. They used mercenaries and that sort of thing. And that's where you get Machiavelli writing about the prince, trying to get and go with the Medicis. Going way off topic here. Let's stay focused. Second richest country, Palantir, and then, Illustria just doesn't have a lot in the bank. This completes the campaign survey. From here, we're going to start diving into more of the detail of the campaign setting, starting with the village. We'll go in more depth at that point. I'm Sean D. Francis. You can contact me, Sean at SeanDFrancis.com. The guide that this is referring to in the workbook will link to in the notes to this video, the description. I'm at Sean D. Francis on Twitter. I would love for you to give me feedback on this. Will you use this tool? Have you used it? Has it helped? Is there information that you wish this collected that isn't there? This was created to help DMs who want to start creating their own homebrew campaign setting have a starting point. This is not the only way to create a campaign setting. I've used this methodology probably about 5-6 times. There's other ways of creating campaign settings. This to me is just the most beginner friendly way of doing it. So this is the end of video 3. I will see you in the next video.